You already know what it feels like to watch someone else get ahead. You see it everywhere. A friend buys a house, a coworker mentions their portfolio, someone posts about passive income online, and somewhere deep inside a quiet voice asks, "Why not me?" That voice is not weakness, that voice is wisdom. And if you are hearing it right now, you are in exactly the right place. Here's the truth that nobody really sits down and tells you. Investing is not just for wealthy people. It is not reserved for people with finance degrees or for people who understand complicated charts. It is for you, right now, exactly where you are. And today, we are going to walk through it together step by step in plain language the way a trusted friend would explain it to you over coffee. But first, let me ask you something personal. How long have you been telling yourself you will start investing when the time is right, when you have a little more money saved, when life slows down a little, when you feel more ready? Here is what nobody warns you about. That version of the future never arrives on its own. Every single day that passes without action is not a neutral day. It is a costly one. And the cost is invisible, which makes it even more dangerous. Because here is what compounding interest actually looks like in real life. Money that is invested today does not just grow. It grows. And then that growth grows. And then that new growth grows on top of itself again. The longer your money sits doing nothing, the more you are handing over to time without getting anything back. And time, unlike money, is the one thing you can never earn more of. Think about what that really means. Imagine two people with the exact same income. One starts putting money to work in the market early, the other waits just a few years longer. By the time both of them reach their later years, the difference in what they have accumulated is not small. It is often the difference between financial freedom and financial stress. Not because one person was smarter, not because one person worked harder, simply because one person started sooner. That is the pain that nobody talks about loudly enough. Not the dramatic crash, not the big financial mistake, just the quiet, relentless cost of waiting. Watching the years tick by while your money sits in a savings account earning almost nothing. Feeling that low-level anxiety that never fully goes away. That sense that you are falling behind even when you cannot quite name why. And if that resonates with you, you are not alone. Millions of people feel exactly that way, not because they are lazy, not because they do not care, but because nobody ever made it simple enough. Nobody broke it down in a way that felt approachable. Nobody made it feel safe to start. We actually have some related programs linked right there in the description below this video. If you are serious about accelerating this journey and doing it the smart way with real guidance, take a look before you continue watching. Because the people who move first are always the ones who end up ahead. Most people will keep scrolling and do nothing, but you are not most people. That is why you are still here. Now let us get into the actual steps, because this is where everything changes. Step 1 is knowing exactly what you are working with. Before you can build anything, you need to see the full picture of where your money is going right now, not an estimate, the real numbers. What comes in, what goes out, and what is left. Most people are genuinely shocked by this exercise. They discover streams of spending that have become invisible to them. Subscriptions they forgot about. Habits that bleed money slowly. The point is not to judge yourself. The point is to find your investing fuel, the money that is already inside your current life but is not working for you yet. Step 2 is building a cushion before you build wealth. This part is not glamorous, but it is absolutely foundational. An emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of your essential expenses is not optional. It is the protection that keeps a market downturn or an unexpected expense from forcing you to pull your investments at the worst possible moment. Without this cushion, investing actually becomes riskier. With it, you can stay calm when markets move, because your everyday life is not dependent on what happens in your portfolio on any given day. Step 3 is understanding the vehicles available to you. Think of this like learning that there is more than one road to the same destination. Retirement accounts with tax advantages. Index funds that spread your risk across hundreds of companies at once. Exchange-traded funds that you can buy and sell like stocks but that carry the diversification of a whole basket of assets. You do not need to master all of these on day one. You just need to understand that they exist and that they were designed to help regular people build wealth systematically over time. Here is a number that will stay with you. If you invested just $100 every single month consistently, with a historical average market return, you would have tens of thousands of dollars after a decade that you never would have had otherwise. Not because you got lucky, not because you made bold moves, simply because you started, stayed consistent, and let time do its work. Now imagine what happens when you increase that amount as your income grows. The numbers become life-changing. Step 4 is choosing simplicity over complexity. The biggest mistake new investors make is thinking that sophisticated strategies produce better results. Research consistently shows that low-cost index funds outperform the vast majority of actively managed funds over long periods of time. You do not need to pick winning stocks. You do not need to time the market. You need to own a small piece of many companies, reinvest your dividends, and refuse to panic when prices drop. That is not oversimplification. That is what the data actually says. Step 5 is automating everything. The most dangerous moment in any investor's journey is the moment they have to make a decision about whether to invest this month or spend that money on something else. Willpower is not a reliable system. Automation is. Set up an automatic transfer that moves money into your investment account the same day your paycheck arrives. Before you see it, before you spend it, pay the future version of yourself first. That one shift alone has transformed the financial trajectories of countless people who never thought of themselves as investors. Step 6 is learning to love market drops. This is the counterintuitive truth that separates people who actually build wealth from people who watch from the sidelines. When markets fall, your regular investment buys more shares at a lower price. When markets recover, all of those extra shares multiply in value. Drops are not disasters for long-term investors. They are sales. The people who panic and sell during drops are the ones who actually turn temporary losses into permanent ones. Stay the course, trust the process, let other people's fear work in your favor. And here is the emotional reality that ties all of this together. This is not just about numbers. It is about what money actually represents in your life. It is about the freedom to choose how you spend your time. The security of knowing your family is protected. The ability to help the people you love. The experience of waking up someday and realizing that your money is working harder than you are and that you built that, yourself, from exactly where you are right now. Every financial expert, every wealthy self-made person, every story of transformation you have ever heard has one thing in common. They all started before they were ready. They started imperfect. They started uncertain. But they started. You now know more than most people will ever take the time to learn. You have the framework. You have the understanding. The only question left is whether today is the day you actually begin. The resources available to help you go deeper are right there in the description below this video. Real guidance. Real strategy. Designed for people who are ready to stop waiting and start building. Not everyone will take this step. Most will watch this, feel inspired for a moment, and then go back to exactly what they were doing. But you have come too far in this video to be that person. Go check what is waiting for you below. Your future self is already grateful that you did.